the basic tables. We learned working with the tables and some basic attributes for the tables. For the tables. So what are the options we have learned for table attributes yesterday? So the table elements and one set of attributes related to border frames and borders, frames, and rules, how we can define them and what are their values. These are the options we learned. So I given an example for that, and in the table attributes we learned about border, frame, and rules, how we can define them, right? And what are the various attribute values for them. So difference between border, frame, and rules, we understood how to configure them. Next, some other important attributes we need to look. So let's see the other attributes what we have for the table. So the next option for table you need to understand is, this is the table design. This is the table design we created, and with some options for this. In this, I explained the difference between how we can set up the border, frame, and rules. Next, after understanding borders, frames, and rules, another important is how we can define. Another important is how we can define the background. So we have background. So for table, actually background you can define. Background you can define in two ways. Two important attributes are there. One is BG color. So BG color, and this BG color, so it defines a background color. For it defines a background color for table or group, or for row, or for cell. It defines a background color which you can apply for table. So you can apply for table, or you can apply for a group or cell. You can define for that. Another, we have background. So it defines a background image. It defines a background image. it defines a background image. Same, you can set it for table or group or row or cell. You can apply that. So that is two important options we are having. One is BG color, another one background. So how we configure for table? Let's see. So these are the borders and frames. What are the various combinations I given here? Background, you can define background image, background colors and all. So let's go into this table and I want to set a background color. Then we can use BG. BG color. BG color is equal to some yellow and it will apply the color. Actually, in how many ways we can define colors, you will learn in later session. We will discuss about various techniques of defining colors. As of now, we will use just names. Okay. Now, this is the color. So background, you can observe, I can apply for table. I can apply for table. Or I remove that. I can apply for group. That means T head, that background color. It will apply for only T head. Or I can apply for row. That means in the table body, in the row. That means it will apply only for that row. Or even you can apply for only cell, for any one cell. Then it will work only for that particular cell. Different colors, different options you can define. Different options you can define. So that is actually this option. All right. So you can apply the background color and you can define the background color for different options. So like, yeah. So we can set here an syntax like you can give for table BG color is some red, something like this. And you can set for T body BG color is equal to red, like this. Or you can set for some TR BG color is equal to red. And you can set for TD, that is BG color, is equal to some red, like this. So you can apply at different levels. The same, you can put a background picture also. So you can put a background picture. For example, we have some logo. I want to put a background logo. Then instead of BG color, we can use background. Background is equal to, so here we can put, it comes from images, / in images, some logo .png. So then it has to get that and display. Already I told you, you will get that, but fitting that into the table, correctly setting into the table, merging into the table. So you want tile, you want single, you want transparent little bit. All such things are done through CSS only. Currently, we can just put one picture in the background. One picture in the background. Just I can put a picture in the background. Suppose we have the pictures in the images. So banner 1, 2, 3. So technically here, I'm just saying here banner 1 dot jpg. So banner 3 dot jpg, like this. I'm applying that banner in the background. It will get that banner in the background. So banner 2 dot jpg, it will get that banner in the background. But important, the banner is having a large image actually, but it is getting this one. Generally, we need to fit the image into it. Such things you can achieve by using style. So we have to write styles. We have to say background, we have to say repeat, and background we have origin, background we have size, right? So I defined background size as suppose cover something like this. If we define like that, it will fit into that. It will fit into it, right? So if I am defining background size, so you need to understand what is that cover, what is that attributes available, that you will learn later. If you can do that, we can make it fit into it. We can make it fit into it. So this we will not see now because a lot of options will confuse you. As of now, we will just understand what attributes basically you can give with general table background. And I given here for table, you can add for only cell, only group, same like table. That means I will cut this, and I have given here in the table header. In the table header, that means we are defining in only header it will come, but it will not fit because it's a large image, but shades will be available there. You can see I want to keep this in the body, so then I can keep that in the body. We can keep in the body, so it will apply to all cells in that body. That's the general appearance, how you can configure. So table, you can apply this background color, bg color, and background. Bg color will set a background color, and this will set a background image. The options also same here. We can use table. So background and is equal to some images, some banner 1.jpg, something like this. We can apply for T head or T body something, and background is equal to images / banner 2.jpg, something like this. We can apply at row level. So background color, background is equal to images / some banner 3.jpg. You can apply a table cell. So background is equal to images / logo.png, something. That's how we can configure the backgrounds for table. So table have two options in the background. You can put a background color, or you can put a background image. So we have border frames and rules, and we have background, bg color, and background. Next important, after understanding background, next important attributes. So we have width and height. Generally, we can configure the width and height for tables. And here two important attributes are there. So one is width. Directly you can use width, and width I can configure this. It specifies the width for, you can define the width for table, or you can define the width for table cell. Width can be defined for table or table cell. Only two options are there. You can define the width for table and table cell. And height you can define. It specifies the height for table, or it specifies the height for table, or it will define the height for table row. You can define the height for table or table row. It is recommended to define in these two locations. Actually, width and heights are very important, and it is recommended to define the width and height in these locations. So for example, suppose see here, when you are defining the width and height. So already width is there for table. Suppose for table, I am adding width is equal to some 300. That means width for table will be 300 pixels. Some 400. It will be 400 pixels. So I am defining height. Height is equal to some 100. And table, all rows height have to increase. I said 200. And it is not changing the height of that, because actually this height property is actually not available with table, but still we can forcibly use it by using effects, CSS. Here why it is not affected, because you have groups here. When we have groups, then it will affect. When I defined height as 300 or 400 something height, you can see it is affecting only the body section. You can see only the body section. When you have groups, it will affect only the body section. Suppose 400, and it will affect only the body section. So it will not affect the header, T head and T footer section. It will affect only the body section. So generally, when you are defining height, it is recommended to define height inside table. So width also you can define inside table. Then it will apply for entire table. But width is affected for all columns. If I say 600, it will affect for all the columns. But height is affected only for the table body. So first point, I will tell you that. So width you can define. Yeah. So here width, what we can do is, yeah, let's add that. So width I can define here. It can be defined for table to affect all columns, and it can be defined. So it can be defined for cell. You can simply say it can be defined for cell to affect any specific column, that is width column. And height, when you are configuring the height, so important about height is actually you can define for table. So but important, which affects only body, T body, which affects only T body, And one more point is you can define for row TR. So which affects entire row, entire row. That is the point. Height we can define in these ways. Height can be defined in this way. So the width and height can be configured in that way. So that is the width and height options. So you can define the width and height, but when you define height, it will affect all of them. Suppose, see, I am specifying height in T head, 400 height for T head. Then you see it is not affected. Height is not affected. So in groups, you cannot define. T head or T body not affected. It will affect only T footer will not affect. It will affect only T body. That is the reason I given that point. You can define for table and which can affect only T body. You can define for T row. You can use for T row. Suppose in the header we have a T row. Suppose here one more option is T row. I said height is 400. And you can see in row applied. You cannot write in groups. You cannot write in T head or T body height. You can write height in the row. Then it will affect that entire row. I'll say that, then again it is normal. You try to give here in T head in group, it will not work there. So it will work only for the rows. Many times so anyone will ask like, can I adjust only the height of this cell? No, you can't do that. If you define height in the cell, it will affect all the cells. That means suppose I given height for this cell, then it is going to affect all cells. So that is not good for defining the height. That's the reason we don't recommend that. So that means either you give for a row or you give for a table. Width also same here. You can define the width for columns. We can configure the width for columns. So that means when I define width for this particular column, then what will happen is, suppose I define width here for this column. Then what will happen is that entire column width will be changed. It will not affect only for that particular cell. It will affect for all the columns under that particular cell. So that is the reason better you define where I have mentioned here table or table cell width. So you can define width there, and here you can define table or table row. That means we can use the options in this way. So we can define the options in this way. So table width is equal to some pixels and height is equal to some pixels. As we already know, we can even define this in percent. Width is equal to some 100%, 100%, and height is equal to some 50%. Actually, that percent, it will adjust according to the window size browser, right? So similarly, the height, if you want to define, you can configure the height. So by width for this table cell, width is equal to some 300, like this. Similarly, height, already I given in here, the same thing we can manage. Width and height combination I given here. Height, if you want to define, so usually height can be defined with TR. You can say height is equal to how much height. You cannot give height for, it's not recommended for cell TD, or it is not recommended for table. So it is recommended to define for the table rows. So configuring of height for table rows, right? That will be helpful for the table. That is how we generally define width and height. You will able to use this in different occasions to design different layouts actually. I told you already that it's not that you are designing like T head, T body, like this type of data. We can actually use this in various presentations. For example, it's not mandatory that it should look like a table. It should look like a table. So for example, I will show you. Suppose I am adding a new file, some ePaper.html. Yeah. And here I'm designing a doc type HTML head, some title. So title, some ePaper, something like this. And at the body section, here I'm using a table. So we are using a table. And the table width is equal to, so 100%. Okay. And inside this table, so I'm adding directly a row. I'm adding directly a row. In that, we have a cell. We have a cell. So you can observe like this is like table, right? In that we have cell. And we have some the Hindu like this, right? Now below this, so when I run this, usually you can see it will be in this way. And for that, we have to learn merging also. I will tell you now. We will see that how we can manage it. Right. Initially, this is just a row and options. Okay. Now below this, I will add another row, second row. In that, so I have 3 cells. In that we have 3 cells. So we are having 3 cells. Right, that is TD, 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 these 3 cells are there. Okay. And again, here I have another row. We have only 1 cell. Okay, that means total 3 rows are present. And in the top row, we have this. In the middle row, we have this. And bottom row is this. Okay. Now here, in the middle, at the bottom, I'm defining. So ampersand copy and copyright. So 2020. Okay. We can add some more contents. So published from Delhi, Hyderabad, Chennai, like this. Chennai, like this. Now you can see here, Below this, we are adding some paragraphs. Means 3 cells are there. We are adding some paragraphs. So let's copy some paragraph information and paste there. Temporarily, I'm just copying some paragraph information and pasting here. Yeah, some paragraph information and paste here. Okay, directly in the cell, I can keep some paragraph there. So I'm adding some 3 paragraphs of information here. Now, in the tables, after understanding width and height, we will see now how to configure width and height. So we need to understand about another important option, that is merging of rows and columns, columns. I will show you how we can use the merging of rows and columns. For that, actually, we have 2 important attributes. One is row span. So generally, this row span, so it can merge specified number of columns, specified number of rows into one row. We have call span, and this call span, so it can merge specified number of columns into one column. That is the merging of rows and columns. So here I am configuring in this way. Currently see the output here. It looks in this way. This is the original size, actually 100%. That is the original size. Now temporarily here, what we are doing is, so we are copying some information here. So already information is there. The Hindu, suppose for this I want some font. So I want some font. So some options to configure. I will keep this with some bold, because we haven't learned all the styles. We will use just HTML for this. And font face, so is equal to Arial. How do we define fonts also we learned. Now that is actually the option here. And font size is equal to some 5. Okay, size also increased here, some 6. Okay. Now observe here, table is not having a border. Let's keep here rules is equal to all, and table will be like this. So the table will be like this. Suppose I am defining table border is equal to 1. You can see the table looks like this. So now we want this, how we want to configure that actually. So we want the heading row to merge, heading cell to merge 3 columns and come to the center here. Then what you can do is, so we can use this heading cell. Which cell, right? TD. We have to use call span. Call span is equal to, it should merge 3 columns. It will merge 3 columns and it will keep into single. Similarly, so the bottom, so here, this cell should merge 3 columns. Then here also I defined call span is equal to 3. It will merge 3 columns. The header and footer are merging 3 columns. And I want to keep here the middle row. This is the middle row. You see, this is the middle row. Here, it is having 3 cells. I will adjust the height of the row. Height of the row, I will keep it to 300, okay, pixels. And the height to 300. Suppose height to 600. So it will set the height to 600. So temporarily, I will give like this, 400. This is the height. I configured the height in this way. That means only for that particular row. You can add some contents in the cell. We can keep some content in the cell. Remember, this is not a good presentation of this kind of information. But with HTML, we are trying this. In a later stage, CSS provides a grid system through that we can properly present all this. That will be more responsive way also. We will see that. We will see that. But here, I defined the width and height. I'm adding some contents here. You can add a lot of contents in that paragraphs here. Usually, when you are dealing with these options, you have seen call span here. Call span is nothing but it is merging the columns into one. And what important point we have to write here is, so it can be defined. It can be defined only for TD. It can be defined only for TD. You cannot use this call span for table or row or any other. It can be defined for TD, or you can use for TH, because many times we use TH for heading contents. Then we can apply for TH or we can apply for TD. These two options can be defined. So TD and TH, these are the options which we can define, right? Now, important is I have applied that. I have applied that. Row span also I will show you how we can manage the row span also I will show you. But now you can use another option, alignments. In this example, with combination, we are learning both of them. In alignments, actually we have two options, align. So this align is actually, so it aligns the content left, center, or right, left, center, or right. We have another v-align. V-align, this actually aligns the content vertically, top, center, and bottom. And align will align the content horizontally, left, center, right. Horizontally, left, center, or right. It align the content horizontally, left, center, or right. So that means you can see now in this table, I want this horizontally center. That means what we can do in the table, in that cell, here this is the cell, and here I can apply align equal to center. It will get the alignment to the center. It will get the alignment to center. Okay. Another option here, footer also. Let's go to the footer cell. Here also align is equal to center. Okay, this is aligning the content to center. Fine. Now, the middle row, you can see height is increased due to that. Vertically, it is center. So what you can do is for the middle row, so not only one cell, entire row, then we can use here v-align. V-align to top, vertical align to top. Then the vertical alignment will be top, from the top. Actually, vertical alignment can be top or bottom. You can keep the vertical alignment bottom. So we can keep the vertical alignment, by default it is center. You can keep it to center. So here I want as top, then vertical alignment is top, So that means we can adjust the content. Now in every cell, I am adding suppose some more paragraphs, one more paragraph. And you can see some more paragraphs information is coming here. And here again, I am copying one more paragraph here. Yeah, so here also one more paragraph here. So we can add some paragraphs information like this. Here one situation will come. So we will discuss about that. How do we manage? So how do we manage that? Initially, this cell, we are defining the cells here. And if I add more content, that means if I add one more paragraph there, and you can see one more paragraph is here. I'm adding one more paragraph here. And you can see the height keep on increasing now. So if I add one more paragraph, you can see it goes on increasing for it. Right? According to the content, it goes on increasing. It should not be in that way. Generally, what should happen is, if content is growing, I need to span to the next right side. From there, I need to span to the right side like that. That you will able to achieve in the concept of styles later. Instead of keeping that in that way, you can keep a scroll bar. User can scroll and display. So that also you will learn in styles only, how to manage them and all. Here, this is the basic, means how we want that information to display. That is the basic one. So here we learned two options now. How do we use a call span? That means here for call span, we are just using the option TD call span is equal to how much? 3, like this. Row span I will show you. For that we need to design another example. And alignments we can define. So alignments we can define horizontal and vertical alignments. So for that we need to configure in this way. Alignments. So we have a table cell. Align, we can set it to center. And v-align, that is vertical align, we can set it to top like this. So you can give alignment, you can configure alignments. So, and important is alignment depending on how you are presenting your content. Actually, the alignment what you have defined is currently vertically top. Otherwise, this gap will not be there at the bottom. By default, it will be vertically center. So we can merge the rows and columns. We can define alignments. And one more important is we can set spacing and padding. That is important. For spacing and padding, we have options. So we have the option like cell spacing. Usually, cell spacing allows to set space between cells. Okay, and we have cell padding. And padding is nothing but it allows to set space between content and border. content and border. That is padding actually. That means now see here, I will define, and very important is cell spacing and padding. So you need to know that, right? So a note is you can define spacing and padding only to only for table, only for table. Spacing and padding can be defined only for table element. You cannot define everywhere. So that means now what we need to do here is I want some space between cells. Then here I am using in the table tag, I'm using cell spacing is equal to some 30 pixels. You can see space between the cells will increase. The space between the cells will increase. Between cells it increases. Every cell distance will increase. So cell spacing, I defined some 20. The cell spacing will be adjusted for that. Padding is nothing but the distance between this content and its border, because you can see the contents are exactly on the border. Then what we can do here, so we can use cell padding is equal to some 10 pixels. You can see the space is adjusted. Some 20 pixels, some more space will come here. Some more space will come here. And 30 pixel, then some more space will come there. That means padding is the distance. Padding is the distance between the content and the cell. Between the content and the cell. So here, once we define all this, usually, suppose we want to remove the frame, and here you can see I'm applying. So instead of border, because it is having border set to 0, and you can see there is no border. Then if there is no border, our content will display in this way. So we can define, suppose, so border I'm defining as suppose 10. Border I'm defining as 10. And the 10 border will come in this way, right? 10 border will display in this way. So border 10 or border 20, I'm configuring in this way. But actually that is a frame. We know that. It is a frame. We can configure that in a frame. Now border is 0. Border is 0. Border is not there. And we are using frame. Frame is equal to box. And it will get the box for that. And remove the border. So you can just keep rules equal to all. Then the rules will come in this way. That means we are removing the border. We are removing the border and we are keeping the content in this way. Keeping the content in this way. So we can have some background and foreground colors defined for that content. That means at the top here, I want to set some background color for this row. So BG color is equal to some color, some dark cyan like this. The color, I defined that color is here. And font, we can apply color is equal to white. And it can apply that font color there. And here, similarly, I'm defining the background here for this row footer. BG color is equal to some dark cyan. And here, so that will be applied there. And here I'm adding some font options for this. So font color is equal to white. And close the font for this particular cell. And it will apply only for that. So that is the basic how we can define. And usually when we are displaying such kind of information, so here we remove rules as none. So that means rules are not there, then it will configure in this way. And we are defining the frame is also void. That means there is no frame, then it will be in this way. So that means this kind of presentation comes with a table. Currently we done with a table. But generally when you see that, you will feel like it is columns. It is having some columns information. Actually, it is not just columnar information, It is just a table. In the table, we have a row. So we have second row and third row. We merged the cells. We handled the alignments vertically. So we handled the alignments horizontally. We set the spacing between them. And of course, these paragraphs you can change because alignment for that row. So here we define all the cells are here. Suppose I said align is equal to justify. I'm using align to justify. All the contents will be justified. That will be better. We can define left, center, right, or justified alignments. Actually, so we can design this same kind of appearance with different columnar formats. In CSS, you will learn about that. And in real-time development process, it is always good to define with the CSS grid system only. It is always recommended to define with CSS grid system because the grid system will give a responsive design. It will fit according to which device you are using. Based on that, it can handle it. Right. So this is one simple point to understand several options of table actually. So table have a lot of attributes now. We have border, frame, rules. Table is having BG color, background. Table is having width and height. Table is having row span, call span. Row span, I will show you with another example, how to handle that. And align and V-align, horizontal and vertical alignments, and spacing, cell spacing and cell padding. So these are 6 categories, but in every category we have several attributes defined here. These are all the attributes of table. So to make the presentation better. Now when you are designing tables, so we can handle cell spacing, cell padding, how we define that. Actually that we have mentioned in a table element. Cell spacing is equal to some 10. Cell padding is equal to some 10, like this, cell spacing and pad. And now we have several more complex designs to come. So now with tables, we can create nested tables. Nested tables means a table inside another table. We can create some layouts which can present information in a proper way. So we will see how we can create nested tables, how we can design nested tables, a table within another table for designing the layouts. That we will see in our next session, right? Tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will work with some examples on tables. Now, with those examples, I will give you some exercise. You need to practice and you need to design that exercise, right? With the tables, I will give you one exercise. You need to try by yourself. So tomorrow, we will continue with this. And tomorrow, we will see some examples designing with tables.